Yeah, why not?
Okay, hello everybody. This is Dissonant Waves. We're back. This is episode 34. Tricks and Riddle are here. We've been having some great discussion before the episode's even started.
Yeah.
This is our all-star episode. We got Petite League, Violent Soho, Neutral Milk Hotel, duking it out. I don't even know if we're going to see who's best or who's better. We're just going to
Yeah,
talk about all three of these
I,
bands because
I, I
we all
don't
like
really
them.
care. I don't really care if you two decide to rank, but I feel like when we're just kind of finishing up a couple artists and stuff here, the ranking of the albums aren't so important. However, we are going to be doing something different at the end of this episode. We're actually going to rank our top 5 songs from each artist. I know Petite League's a bit weird since we haven't really covered Slugger, but Slugger songs will count on that. I think
I'm throwing a
Trick's
Slugger
will-
song in.
You can
Yeah,
count
that's
Slugger if you want. I haven't listened to Slugger just because I wanted to wait, but I didn't have time
I
either
mean,
to throw it in.
I gave Slugger a listen like a long time ago. I figured, yeah, hey, I'll give a bit of a Petite League a listen today, which will probably. I don't know. What do we want to segue into first? Do we want to segue into the artist that we're having a discussion about?
Well, let's go.
Or do we want to
Well, we were already talking before about Neutral Milk Hotel, so let's just start
yeah,
there.
yeah. We'll start
Yeah.
with Neutral Milk Hotel.
Because let's just
Yeah.
go back to what we were just talking about, which was how we did Ferris Wheel on Fire as one of the EPs because we're covering pretty much everything is a version of everything is Ferris Wheel on Fire, Little Birds, kind of just cleaning up a lot of the stuff there. And Tricks had pointed.
So, I want to point out what the everything is. So I got a bit confused about what was on Spotify and what wasn't.
Right.
And the version that's on Spotify, at least over here in Australia, I don't know how it is overseas, is the single version.
And I didn't know it was a single
So-
at first, and that was the first Neutral Milk Hotel single, and then they just kept building it out as an EP over time, which is very
Yeah,
strange.
so that's why it only has the 3 songs on the Spotify version.
Right. So that
Because
was
it's
that was
different art and everything.
that was the UK release from '95 originally.
Yeah.
And I have the 2001 release because that's the American version currently, except for the 2011 release, which was in the Neutral Milk Hotel vinyl compilation and is now available on Jeff Mangum's website, basically, if you want it. For, it's pay what you want.
And there's a lot of different versions of it, and
Yeah.
some of it which has different ways of the track listing, like it's in a different order.
And there's, a few more songs. We might cover the other songs at some point just to get them out of the way, another cleanup episode, not even an official, album thing.
Yeah, many said.
But I know this will be a harsh opinion to have, but these EPs were better off left as B-sides.
I mean, they pretty much, Ferris Wheel on Fire is pretty much B-sides. And that's fine.
Everything is probably the better EP of the two. I like the title track, Everything Is, and that's kind of it.
I think...
It's very, very lo-fi.
Yes.
And it's interesting as shit because, I can't really understand what the fuck they're on about, except for the chorus. Which I'm probably so far out of context at that point, I still don't know what they're on about.
Yeah.
But I love that song. When I first listened to On Avery Island, and it obviously had the version I listened to obviously had Everything Is at the end of it because that's how they released it in the UK and stuff.
Right.
It was actually one of my favorites on first listen. I thought this is odd, this is weird, but I'm loving it. I love all this kind of statically lo-fi stuff that's going. It was interesting, and I guess it's kind of a shame that it's not on Avery Island because I actually thought it kind of fit. And
I guess I can
everything
see
else
that.
on here was kind of different to that song.
Yeah.
It's more in line with the early cassette tapes.
Hmm.
Yeah, all the milk stuff, I have not really gotten into the early demo stuff. We listened to a little bit because we figured out that Through My Tears, which is a deep cut, got covered by the Cherry Tops this year, randomly.
Yeah.
And that's the official release version of the song now, I guess. Which in Through My Tears is a very, very different song that I wish they put out because that it's interesting as shit.
Yeah.
But we were also just talking about how on Ferris Wheel how my dream girl don't exist is what is the song called?
When I Come Around.
Yeah, it's When I Come Around by Green Day. It is the same chord progression, at least in the opening.
Yeah.
And like, because then you were talking about how the early demos it was from there, and that was like '91.
Yeah.
Invent Yourself a Shortcake.
Yeah, Invent Yourself a Shortcake.
Which means that Green Day might have heard that and like took that riff and then used it, because
it's also the most used chord progression ever.
Yeah, yeah.
And while we're on the topic of My Dream Girl Don't Exist, can I share the fucking pinnacle of comedy I found on YouTube?
Sure, please.
Just read the title of the video.
Oh God.
Nice.
Oh God.
Nice. That's beautiful. So for those who can't see what this is, it's Neutral Milk Hotel, My Dream Girl Don't Exist anime music video. And it's a picture of what seems to be a young girl wearing one of those, I forgot what type of hats that's called, but it's the one that you see on a lot of fucking hipsters, bending over playing fucking snooker.
It's like a newsboy hat.
And this is the point where I'm going to have to ask Ash to please put in headphones, because that is playing over my mic.
Yeah, I can hear it. Let me read the description for you. A tribute to my waifu, Hanako Aizawa.
Okay, so I apologize. I had to apologize because the way the sound was going, I thought it was coming from a phone. There's an actual ice cream truck outside.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
I can't play it.
When we're talking about like an image of a girl that looks like pedo bait and an ice cream truck to just come outside at that moment, it's a little bit of too good timing.
Let me read the description. A tribute to my waifu, Hanako Aizawa, from the visual novel Katawa Shouju.
Okay.
So,
I got it.
No idea who that is. I'm not an anime buff, but I thought that was fucking hilarious when I saw it.
I'll listen to it off air, because if I listen to it, it's just gonna be baked into the soundtrack of this episode.
It's just the music.
Fair enough.
So, with just pictures of the anime girl. I just thought the title was just comedy gold.
Look, I think it's always interesting as well when going back into like Neutral Milk Hotel, we talk about the artists that were influenced by them, and I'm just looking at the list here on Wikipedia again, and you have a couple in there that's like it makes sense, like Mountain Goats, Decemberists, Kevin Devine, Beirut, yeah,
Arcade Fire,
Me Without You, yeah, Kesha. Wait, what?
What?
That's what it says. It says apparently Kesha has been inspired by. You ever listen to the song TikTok and you just go, "Yes, I see the Jeff Mangum in
that."
The song is about Anne Frank partying.
Yeah, so I wanted to imagine what would have happened if she wasn't captured by the Nazis and was instead still alive and was a clubber.
That sounds like a Justin Bieber kind of thing.
Yeah, he signed into the guest book. Anne Frank would have been a believer, or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But yeah, we were also talking about how it seems like Jeff has kind of a history of like kind of this idea that he pines after people that don't exist or like are not alive anymore, and that's kind of the idea of My Dream Girl Don't Exist.
I have the belief at this point if I go up to Jeff Mangum's wife and actually try to touch her, like it won't physically be possible because she just doesn't actually exist.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he didn't settle on his dream girl.
Maybe.
He settled for reality instead.
Man, I'm just trying to think of any jokes I can do from here on about like not settling for his dream girl and like the dream girl not existing, but every one of them is just cruel.
I mean, I'm sure she's very lovely and nice. I've not met her. I know she's like a documentary director, which is cool.
Yeah,
but she's real. That's not allowed.
Yeah, she's not Anne Frank. She's not a housewife in Maine with 3 kids. She's not a 5-year-old who slit her wrists.
Okay, I really hope though if Jeff Mangum was coming out these days, we wouldn't just see him fucking perform with a fucking full body pillow.
Oh God. But
I apologize to everybody that I've just offended. which is probably around everybody. Because the people there with the body pillows probably aren't too happy that I'm making fun of them, and the people out there who like Jeff Mangum are probably not so happy that I'm making fun out of him. But look, I'm just saying, if Anne Frank body pillows existed, Jeff Mangum might have one.
I don't think so. I think that's a little far, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, if he was in these days, like back in the 90s and stuff, when he's still around, obviously he's had a lot of time to grow up. But say if his music was only coming out these days.
I don't even want to get into it.
He doesn't seem like a body pillow type to me.
Well, I guess we agree to disagree here.
He also doesn't seem like someone who might get over things very easily.
It's the same type of people to have a body pillow.
We'll make a
You're only strengthening my arguments.
limited run 100 items, Riddle and body pillow.
There we go. I'll buy that for $1.
Look, I think it's very nice to assume that I'm worth $1.
Is $1
Then
Australian
again,
more or less than American?
The
I
fabric
forget.
with the pillow might be pretty nice, actually. So
Anyway, everything is like it is interesting. It is Jeff Mangum doing his like sound collages on top of doing lo-fi acoustic, and
Yeah.
and as we know, he loves his sound collages, as the Orange Twin Fieldworks has shown us. And I get the feeling that if that was a commercially viable thing, he would just do that forever.
Well, at this point,
Because-
in the airplane over the sea has sold millions of copies, and he can probably just live off of royalties. And he
and
could
I've got my
probably
vinyl with him.
just do that.
Probably.
I mean, there were only so few vinyl that I have, and with that, there's only so few vinyl that I've actually played. And I mean, in the airplane over the sea was there. I found it in a reissue for like $40 or something new. Picked it up, pretty much listened to it the day after. I mean, I'll make my jokes about Jeff Mangum. I'll make it very offensive and baseless here, but I mean, yeah, in the airplane over the sea is still one of the greatest albums of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I appreciate everything is. I don't have anything particularly like a favorite of mine off of it. I think it's just it's a good grounding point for what became.
Yeah.
I think the most interesting thing on it is Enigma Blowtorch, because it's just a sound collage pretty much, and it's just a bunch of stuff he slapped together in like a really artsy, interesting way. Like there were so many just like
That was my joke because I don't know when the mute button on this mic is.
like there's like wind noises. It sounds like Kermit the Frog is singing, or is it Homer Simpson that's singing on it, or is it just Jeff imitating a voice even?
I have no idea.
Like there's a bunch of interesting weird stuff on there. There's like a reference to stereophonic sound, which I feel like is a thing that a lot of musicians like to do in that Gautier style. You know, we all remember Drawing Blood.
Yeah,
Yeah. I listened to it the other day.
fantastic album. Man, I could have done fucking Making Muse for this episode,
You could have.
but I didn't.
I
Instead,
mean-
we did Violent Soho.
We're gonna do Making Mirrors eventually. It's just a matter of time.
What about that new thing that Gautier was involved with? The Sound Room? It was like a
I
TV
don't
show,
know.
I'm guessing.
I'm
Hold up.
looking it up. I'm looking it
Yeah,
up.
you'll have to search that up whilst I'm because as I said earlier before this episode, I'm currently writing up my rankings list as we're talking about the albums, and I don't know, I feel like this is the one that I have the least to say about, because everything that I really have to say is with the song Everything Is. Little Birds didn't really grab me at all.
Oh, I love Little Birds so much. Oh my god. It is so strange and so interesting and so visual. It is one of my favorite Neutral Milk Hotel songs. I know it's like an unfinished thing. It's just Jeff and a guitar, pretty much. But like, he's able to just do so much with just those two things, and I would love to know what an album with that as like the basis of its sound that really like even darker than Aeroplane even would have sounded like. I don't know. I really find, and like the live version is kind of rough, and it's the only time he ever did it live, I think, at least back then.
Yeah.
And I also appreciate that too for the explanation of what it's supposed to be about and kind of the symbolism he's going for there. And again, just kind of seeing.
So with the thing that Trick shared as well, just like very quickly, the Basics is a band that Gautier is in.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And
Yeah,
there's some of his songs on. I have no idea what the song name is, but.
Oh, they did Bronte again. Okay. Bronte's a good song.
And on the bottom of it, the last song on the album is Somebody That I Used to Know. Addicted to Love is on here. Heart's a Mess.
Heart's a mess. And Dominic calls me an insult.
No, but when I was in college, I tried to. It was in an adaptation class for like writing screenplays, and I took Little Birds and made a little screenplay out of it, just for fun as an exercise, and it was a fun time. I enjoyed it.
See, now here comes because I'm not going to spoil my top 5 Neutral Milk Hotel until the end of the episode. But here's the fun thing: I think my top 4 Neutral Milk Hotel songs are pretty intact. Like I think I'm pretty comfortable with those, but I don't know what my 5th is. I think that one's really up in the open.
Yeah, it took me a while to figure out what my actual ranking was. Also, just kind of realizing like kind of comparing, because I broke it down by albums, so I had like if a track appeared on different albums, it was again available to be on there. So then it's like comparing like the April 8th on Avery Island versus April 8th on Ferris Wheel. I realized that April 8th is better on Avery Island because there's that like really lo-fi darkness to it that I really appreciate. It really just adds like the creeping like darkness and like just insanely like depressing mood of it.
Yeah, and there's one that I've done that it might be a bit illegal, and I've kind of considered 2 songs here as one.
Mm-hmm. I don't care.
But like, yeah, it's not something here that it's like, oh, they're so far apart on the album or something that it's kind of illegal to do that. They are tunes that are supposed to be with each other.
Right.
I'm guessing one's untitled.
Well, technically no.
Oh, the Ghost of Penny Arcade in California or whatever.
Yeah, I refuse to call it untitled because Penny Arcade in California is just such a better title.
I think I remember reading somewhere that was a mistake. I could be wrong. I still call it
I
untitled.
don't even care. Penny Arcade in California is just a better title. But
Fair
like,
enough.
That's one on my short list that I've considered as 2, whilst King of Carrot Flowers Part 1 and Parts 2 to 3 I've actually considered 2 different songs.
Fair enough.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
fair enough.
I mean, the other song to really talk about here is "Oh Sister," because like Ferris Wheel on Fire is an interesting EP. I think it's still good, but it suffers from the fact that it's mostly just Jeff and a guitar. And as much as I love Jeff and the guitar, some of these songs it feels like it needs the whole band.
Yeah.
But "Oh Sister" is really the one exception. Like, it is just so good. It is just as evocative as anything on
I'll
Aeroplane.
say My Dream Girl Don't Exist also.
Sure,
It's very nice hearing
that's
Jeff
like
sing.
that's like a live out. That's like a live thing. It's a little
Yeah.
different.
I think that's actually a much older recording.
Yeah, I think so. Because like the thing is like all of this stuff is stuff that he wrote, in the '90s when he was doing Neutral Milk, but then a lot of it was recorded later, or re-recorded later, except I think for My Dream Girl Don't Exist because that was like an older recording.
Yeah.
And like other thing I love about Ferris Wheel is like kind of like a retrospective thing because it was released so in 2011 with like all the vinyl stuff that came out around then. Is how his songwriting is so it borrows from the other songs in such an interesting way where it just like different lines will just come up and work in both in two different songs, and it just kind of sounds like he's referencing one and another, and it just makes me very emotional. It's very good. It just hits in the right way. It's just like
Yeah, like how the last line of, or well, a line of Ghost is used in My Dream Girl Don't Exist.
yes. It's like you don't know what's gonna come up next. You don't know like what's gonna go where. It's just all kind of a mishmash of ideas. And
He could be anywhere. The coal is coming from inside the house.
And you just get this idea that Jeff wrote all these different songs, and then like they didn't pan out, or he didn't like them enough, and so he rewrote them into different songs. But he's like, oh, that one line I still like, that other line I still like. I'm gonna put them in here. And that's how you get like if you look at like the Little Birds live version to the Little Birds studio recording and how different they are, and like the Jittery Joe album versus how Aeroplane turned out and how different they are.
Yeah.
Like that's one of my favorite things is how he's willing to like kind of test drive some of those songs and just change them all the time.
Yeah, I do. One more thing I do want to mention about My Dream Girl Don't Exist is I found there was a version of it on YouTube. I was sending it to a friend, and I just wanted to like make sure it's like the same song. It's the same recording. You can tell it's in a live setting, and in the beginning he actually preface it like the same way he did Two Headed Boy Part 2 on Live at Jittery Joe's, where he's like, this is a companion piece to another song, and I don't even know if that other song is going to be published or anything.
I wonder what it was.
Yeah.
Was it probably Communist Daughter or something? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
I appreciate listening to all this stuff, even if Ferris Wheel is kind of just a bunch of the same songs. Like, it's nice to hear Engine in a studio setting.
Yeah, with the singing song.
Yeah,
Well, if there's one thing I can point out though, like say, the wait for this was like 13 years or something, wasn't it?
Roughly.
To get a new Neutral Milk actually out there, and it's not really Neutral Milk.
It's just Jeff.
Yeah, if I was into Neutral Milk Hotel in 1998, and then 2011 I heard, oh, we're putting out an EP. It's a bunch of stuff that we recorded during the Prime era. I would be a lot more excited than what we actually got.
I mean, there is some other instrumentals here and there. There's like a accordion melodica thing in Home. The singing saw is an Engine, and that was different people, obviously. But yeah, for the most part, it is just Jeff. And I think a lot of these, you know, except for the ones that were re-recorded, I think some of these were just kind of unfinished things he probably still thought were interesting or he liked. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, you know, the good and the bad thing. Because it's like, there's so much potential in what could have been. And I think Little Birds is an extremely good example of that. Of like, if he kept writing and releasing music after Aeroplane, I really think, you know, that would have been possibly an even better album, or like just at least a more interesting album, even than Aeroplane.
Yeah.
Because if he started tackling like more social issues, like because Little Birds is supposed to be, it was like written kind of around the time of the Matthew Shepard killing, and was kind of in a way about kind of gay and being gay in like a symbolism kind of way. Like if he started talking about stuff like that, I would have been really intrigued. Like my whole album.
On this note, I think I got my top 5 for Neutral Milk Hotel sorted out. I'm not sure if I'm going to be happy with it at the end though. I think this is going to be a controversial top 5 and probably one of the most different top 5s that we could possibly have. Because we obviously have you, Dominic, is probably the most into Neutral Milk Hotel out of all of us.
Right. Yeah.
We've obviously all had a little bit of different reactions to certain songs, some that we love a lot more than others, and I think this is going to be controversial no matter what.
I mean, yeah, Neutral Milk Hotel is one of the most important bands in my life. I am one of those people. I mean, it just kind of happened that way, you know. Only other thing I want to say is that it's interesting that Jittery Joe still has one exclusive song, and that is a cover. Everything else has now been released in like a studio recording in some fashion.
Yeah.
Like I Will Bury You in Time is probably a good example of like what a B-side Neutral Milk Hotel song is like, and even that got like a proper treatment.
Well, I Will Bury You in Time is probably the best song off that EP that's not live, in my opinion.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, I don't hate Engine. as well, and I like My Dream Girl Don't Exist quite a lot. That's probably it's in between that and I Will Bury You in Time, which I think is the best off the EP. But
Yeah.
in the end, I'm just gonna go back to the albums.
I mean, Engine is the one song I had to cut. It was like my 11th on this list. I made a top 10 for each band, and Engine was the one I had to cut just now. So I'm very sad about that.
Well, I'll let you go for your top tens when you Actually, you know what? Because we're gonna do the top five later. You want to go end off each segment with your 10 to 6?
Sure. And keep in mind, I'm still like incorporating the different versions of songs.
Yeah, yep.
So number 10 is Two Headed Boy in the Aeroplane Over the Sea version. Number 9 is Two Headed Boy Jittery Joe's version.
Oh.
Number 8 is Song Against Sex. 7 is Holland 1945. And 5 is King Carrot Flowers Part 1.
6, you mean?
6, yes, King Carrot Flowers Part 1.
Yeah. That is definitely an interesting start to your top 10. I mean, in the end, these are top, so it's songs that you like. But yeah, this is. I already see that we're going to have a lot of difference.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. And with that, what do we want to move on to next?
Oh, you don't want to do you want to talk about yours? So you can talk about yours later.
Well, I don't have a 10. I'm
Okay.
doing a 5.
Okay.
Same here.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We talked about doing
Five is
10,
the top.
and then I said I was going to only do 5, and then I think we all started to do 5, then I did 10. It's my fault. Okay.
You're an
No, that's
overachiever,
fine.
Dominic.
It's a good way to close each segment, is to put out yours as kind of like a preface of what's to come in
Okay.
Yeah.
in the rankings.
Let's throw it to Violent Soho, because I feel bad in a way.
She cut your hair, and she cut mine too.
I wanted to do Violent Soho because I know you like that band and you really champion them. I wanted to give you a space to do that again. It's the best album.
You
Hunger Ghost.
lied at the face of Cleopatra. The world ain't built this way. It's alright. I mean, look, Violent Soho has not been as successful on to you guys as it has been on to me. I mean, really, the only albums that are put out for Violent Soho and saying like, "Yep, let's give this a full discussion about the quality and stuff like that," or like, "I really like this." This was Waco before this. Everything is okay. I picked this 2020, and then the debut stuff I picked is more of a showing of what a band does when they get more production and decide to pretty much completely rewrite their whole album.
Yeah, I think that was an interesting way to do it. I don't like begrudge you for that.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the realism of how to get into Violent Soho. Be 15. Be bullied in school.
And be Australian.
And be Australian.
And just listen to Covered in
Being bullied
Chrome.
hard is 50-50. You don't have to exactly be, but you just have to be angsty. And I mean, that's what I was when I first heard Violent Soho. I first heard Covered in Chrome on January 26, 2014. I can tell you that safely because the first time I heard it was during the Triple J Hottest 100 when it came in at number 14.
Wow.
Ah,
That was the first time I ever heard it. That was the first time I fully listened to a Top 100 live. And I fell in love with that song instantly. And no song has done that to me since, except for Big Scary's The Opposite of Us.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, lyrically, you might not call it the greatest thing. I mean, there was some really weird lyrics in there, like a pussy is a piece of skin wrapped in a pocket.
Yeah, I heard that.
I wasn't really paying attention to the lyrics, so.
Ash is already confused at that line.
I mean, you'll have to explain that to me, but I understand the general gist of it.
And I mean, it's full on. It's just a song about, like, it's like, it's just like anxiety.
Is
Yeah,
this
pretty
the
much.
incel anthem that Dominic wants?
I did read that part of Covered in Chrome was based on the Hungarian uprising in the 50s.
Mm.
Back
And
to their tool of going to Wikipedia and looking up random shit and putting it in their songs.
And the reason it's kind of put into there is because they like the imagery of, like, did you actually watch the music video for Covered in Chrome that I linked?
No.
Oh, I forgot about it. I'm sorry.
Oh god. Why do I link shit? Well,
We
anyway,
usually listen to it. We usually
there's
do.
yeah. At the end of the music video, you'll notice there's a guy running around with a flaming torch, setting all the clothes in their clothesline on fire. And that was the kind of imagery that they kind of had with this. It was the kind of whole idea of this everything's like people are rising up and kind of destroying shit, which is the kind of supposed to be the kind of reflection of rising up, destroying the anxiety kind of shit that the kind of whole song kind of brings out. Whether or not it's actually about that is kind of different, but that's the kind of best way to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it has all these
Yeah.
really soft kind of
Yeah.
moments in it,
Yeah.
but then it kind of builds up, and
Yeah.
it's like this big release.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either of you look at least at the thing I posted about someone who went through. Whoever did this is a bloody fucking legend, but they went through each Violent Soho song and counted the amount of times they said yeah.
Oh yeah, I tweeted about that. I love that video.
It's
I need to watch it still. I just looked at the thumbnail.
yeah.
It's so
yeah,
great. It is
I
so
think
funny. It's on my Twitter
Go
page.
up to yeah, that's what I was going to go up to now actually. But it's something like 231 times in their whole goddamn discography.
And like 45 of
this
them are
point.
just from Covered in Chrome.
No, 51.
51 are just Covered in Chrome.
Yeah, it's
I'm pulling it up
incredible.
now.
It is comedy gold, honestly. Just like it just keeps ticking up, and then it gets to fucking Covered in Chrome, and it just like the guy just gives up.
200,
Yeah, it gets
231 yes.
Yeah, and then he just gives up and he goes, yeah, lots.
The average yes per song is 3.73.
It's fucking great.
That's
I'm trying
hilarious.
to see I'm trying to see where Dominic has put this on. Did you put it on Dissonant Waves or did you put it
On my
your
own Twitter.
Oh yeah, I see. Yep.
I do want to mention that this has some of the best cover art I've seen in a while.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, VF a Hungry Ghost. Yeah, it's fucking fantastic.
yeah, Skeleton
Yeah.
Man is cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of kind of like punk art, which is just overly pretentious and doesn't actually like do much. And this one's just a skeleton on fire. Yeah, it's cool. That's all it
Basic to
fucking
the
needs
point.
be. I mean, yeah, this band kind of introducing odd to you hasn't worked out so well. In the end, I don't really care.
And that's fine.
It's still one of my favorite artists of all time.
I appreciate that,
and,
and I'm glad that you.
And I fully say still, like when coronavirus ends in 5 years for you two, and Violent Soho decides to ever go back to America,
I'll go see him.
yeah, go see him.
Maybe I can
Tell
afford
me
a plane
right
to New
now,
York.
it would be it's
for
a
that.
much. Now you're not going to get the same experience as you are going to in Australia. But
Obviously.
there's still a much better live act than I reckon Petite League or Neutral Milk Hotel could ever be.
I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
Neutral Milk Hotel's a good live act. I don't know.
They're
enough
different.
about-
They're different vibes.
Yeah.
I
entirely.
Petite
still,
League, I can't make any real comments on.
I would still
But
love to see Neutral Milk
When
Hotel live.
when you're in a peak Violent Soho live show, it's near impossible to beat.
Didn't you show us pictures?
Yeah, that was the guy who was literally hanging off the ceiling.
And I'm still just nursing my wounds over not getting to see Neutral Milk Hotel when I had the chance to. Well, they're not my
And
ones.
don't get me wrong, yeah, they're probably both good live acts to see, but I just don't reckon they're better than Violent Soho. Like at their peak.
It's an entirely different vibe. It's
Yeah.
like comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah,
I mean, if
but
anything,
or
Petite
sometimes-
League's
Or
probably
relative
sometimes more in
surprises
the
to whatever we did last week.
Ween.
Ween.
I'm sure seeing Rainbow Kitten and Ween are very different.
Yes.
I'm sure Rainbow Kitten just gets out there in like one of those stages that everyone like circles around and they just sink into the floor and then they're just part of the group, they're part of the audience. No one knows where they are.
Well, I mean, they played Bonnaroo and stuff.
Fair enough. But Ween, they just kind of
Anyway.
stand there with the DAT tracks in the back.
I'm gonna well, no, Ween's got a pretty good live setup.
I know. I'm kidding.
But yeah, I'm gonna let you two talk about what your favorite kind of songs off this album were. Actually, don't want to scratch that. Before that, talk about quickly about the singles, Neighbor Neighbor and Tinderbox.
Neighbor Neighbor was better than Tinderbox.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I like them both. I like Tinderbox
Tinder-
better
The
though.
Tinderbox
Tinderbox
was good until it got to the
great
guitar solo and it sounded like a 5-year-old trying to play guitar.
I think Tinderbox and Neighbor
It's
are
a
the
great song live back when it used to be their closer, but like, yeah, no, Neighbor Neighbor is the better song.
I think
Yeah.
those two collectively is the greatest concentration of Violent Soho for my taste.
Plus, I mean, like Neighbor Neighbor is just like, I don't know, it's one of the more calming tunes. That's not boring.
And they love doing their calming tunes.
Hmm.
But usually they're not my favorites.
Everlong, I mean Evergreen.
Yeah. Or what was that one in out of We Don't Belong Here that I did not like? I don't remember.
Wasn't it Outsider?
It was Outsider, and then they did one for Violent Soho, and I don't remember which one I didn't like, but I remember it was one.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you told me that Narrow Ways and Paper Planes can both fuck off and die.
Oh, maybe that was what it was. Yeah.
I think it was Paper Planes. And I don't disagree with Paper Planes. I think it's fine that it's a bonus track instead of an actual album track, because it's definitely one of their weaker. But yeah, no, Neighbor Neighbor was probably. I'm still deciding on my top 5, but like, yeah, these were the songs that after coming back from America, after being dropped from the label and stuff, because I guess they just weren't really a success. Like they came back, and now Neighbor Neighbor and Tinderbox were the songs that they put out, and all of a sudden they kind of started breaking out again in Australia.
But no, I think Hungry Ghost overall,
Before Covered in Chrome came out, and then
Right.
boom, now they're here.
I do think Hungry Ghost though is my favorite Violent Soho album of theirs.
Yeah.
It has the most potential. It has the most stuff that I like. I think. Well, mostly the most stuff. It is the album I would go back to if I had to go back.
Yeah, I have not gone back to any of the other Violent Soho albums, but I would go back to Hungry Ghost.
Well, I'll let you two talk about what your kind of your favorite moments are here first before I go into it.
Dope Calypso is a great opener.
Yep.
I'm
quite
I'm still debating if it's better than How to Taste or if that's kind of around the same.
I
don't
disagree,
know.
but that's okay.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say.
I quite liked the riff in Lowbrow.
I did not get into Lowbrow at all.
I liked the guitars. That's about it.
I did like
So-
Ceremony Said. Ceremony Said was
I think
Yeah.
Ritalin really overhyped Covered in Chrome.
I don't really care.
a bit, but I still like Covered in Chrome quite a bit. It is stuck. It is
didn't
stuck in my
really
head
stand
now.
out.
I'm allowed to say though the song is my favorite of the decade. If that, I mean, at this point, if that still overhypes it for you, then like
Like Covered in Chrome
I
is
think
now
you're
in my
overhyping
head,
it yourself.
so it's just in my head forever. I'm just gonna hear yeah 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 yeah
Look,
yeah
I'm
yeah
just
yeah
saying,
yeah.
it didn't get to number 4 in the decades poll just because only I like it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying for me.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But yeah, Ceremony Said is the other really good one, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
Sarah-
like back when I was first getting into them, I think Sarah, like after expanding more than just Covered in Chrome, I think Ceremony Said was one of the songs that I was going back to. Same with Jesus Stole My Girlfriend. I mean, this was back when I really only had the 2 albums that I could access anyway.
Right. And for this list, oh,
Sorry,
Fucking
hiccups.
Trick's dying on a.
And for this list, I did go back and listen to their entire discography. Not through all the songs, but like enough through a lot of them.
Fair enough.
So like, I really tried my best to make a list out of a band that I don't really care about as much as you do, and you know, it's probably gonna be a bit different than what I talked about in the episodes where we covered them originally. So
No, I know. Neither of you have now actually watched it because you didn't watch it, but I linked the In the Aisle music video.
yeah, I should have watched that. Sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's
Especially since next week I have a required music video.
it's also the Naked Bike Ride music video.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah.
I've heard about it.
Filmed, they grabbed this guy like they knew he was advertising a naked bike ride, and happening in Brisbane, and so they literally filmed him while he was doing a naked bike ride to advertise it.
Yep.
And that's the music video, and they tried to censor it, but you can still make out his dick quite easily.
That was one of those things when I was first doing research in Violent Soho. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see that. And now we're here and I didn't watch it.
I think there's a couple songs on here as well, which I think I personally thought were a bit weak on listens, and they have grown on me quite a bit, but they're still far from my favorites. Lowbrow I wasn't into first listen. It took me a while. OK Cathedral is probably one of the weaker songs off here.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. It's much better live, but a lot of them is. Anyway.
The other one I liked was Fur Eyes.
Oh, Fur Eyes. Did you hate it or?
No, I liked it.
Yeah, no, because I was thinking if you hated it, that's a sin. Because then it comes to the slower tracks on here, which is OK Cathedral and Fur Eyes and Hungry Ghost.
I just I like the line about drunks in the street making video game noise.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means, but I like it.
Just head over to Brisbane and you'll know what it means.
But video game,
I mean,
you
we'd
just
love
hear
to,
fuzz.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the writing for Violent Soho is self-titled and everything goes A-OK.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be a lot more personal, whilst the writing on Hungry Ghost and Waco is supposed to be more of a reflection of society. I know we can get the pretentious
society.
Talk about that later, but still, a lot of the songs here on Hungry Ghost are kind of talking about that. I guess Dope Calypso is a lot more personal, it seems. But it's also an opener, and it's also kind of still talking about how they hate people.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seems to be a song about how they kind of hate, how he hates people because he's been broken up with. I mean, some of this seems to still kind of go off because one of the main songs, obviously in the early discography, was "Jesus Stole My Girlfriend," which is about losing his girlfriend because she converted to Christianity.
Right.
And a lot of again, going back to watching them live, Luke Boredom is pretty outspoken against organized religion. So there's still quite a lot of angst to this. I haven't really ever researched OK Cathedral, but I feel like there's still probably a bit of hate in that as well.
I think so.
It's one of one of the reasons that I think this might not be my favorite Violent Soho record though is because I do feel like it drops off a bit at the end. Songs like Gold Coast and Eightfold. I like Gold Coast, but it's just I don't love it.
I kind of like Gold Coast and Eightfold.
I like Gold Coast more than Covered in Chrome, if I'm going to be honest.
I mean, that's just your opinion.
The only song from the ending part I did not really like was Liars.
Yeah, I don't think I'm too strong on Liars either. But I mean, Hungry Ghost is a fantastic closer.
It's one of the most different ones on the album. It's atmospheric and it has a unique opening for the album. It's less yatty. It's slower. It's almost kind of Radioheady. They really attempted to try something a little bit different, and I appreciate that. I
mean, I guess it goes without saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of yes. This ends the meaning of the yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I mean,
For yes.
as I've grown up, my love for Violent Soho isn't so blind, but like, I still love them. I guess, like as I was saying before the podcast, there's a lot of regional differences when it comes to the sounds of scenes in a country, and I mean, this sounds like from Petite League, which you two enjoy a lot more prevalent in US underground scenes, while Australia is mostly punk, so I guess it's no real surprise of what we enjoy kind of being different here.
Are you saying
Yeah,
Petite
I
League
will-
isn't? Are you saying
Neither
Petite
of
League
us
isn't
hate
punk?
people.
Are you saying Petite League isn't punk?
Not really.
They're more garage.
Yeah, they're more garage.
Like
No
yeah,
Hitter and
garage.
Slugger kind of dip into the surf punk. Not really punk.
yeah.
All right, you punks, put them up.
Ugh.
I do want to say I do have a little bit of an extra special attachment to Petite League because they are New York local. In
Yeah.
fact, the album we're doing this week was recorded an hour from my house, and I was actually in that city today.
Did you take
And
pictures?
again, that's one of the main reasons I didn't want to do an album ranking out of this, because I knew, like, yeah, a lot of our number ones would be a bit like biased.
I mean, my number one this week
Like-
is Petite League, so
You're the only one who wouldn't put your choice as number one, and then you'd still put Neutral Milk Hotel above Violent Soho.
yes.
Yes. Yeah.
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 I rate this album a yeah out of 10.
Well, I do think though, like there will be enough songs, at least off this, that you won't probably end up going back to, even if it's not the whole album.
No.
Yeah.
Between this and the Tinderbox single, I'm pretty good.
I'll come back to some of it, yeah.
You want me
that
to
means already getting annoying.
This
You-
joke is getting old.
You want
Yeah,
me to
it's
go
getting
through my
really
10
old.
through 6?
Yeah, let's go for your 10 through 6, and I'm
I'll
probably
drop
gonna
my
argue
number 6
with
when he's done.
you. Yeah, that's fine. So I need to. You're going to be laughing at the whole yeah things that I'm doing, but that's just how Australians talk.
Yeah.
Damn, I was gonna say yeah too.
I wasn't even thinking on that one.
I wasn't either until I thought about it. Anyway, number
Go for
10.
number 10.
Number 10 is Neighbor Neighbor.
Hmm.
Number 9, My Generation, Off We Don't Belong Here. Number 8, Muscle Junkie, Off We Don't Belong Here.
I'm surprised it's that high.
Number 7, Love Is a Heavy Word, Off We Don't Belong Here. Number 6, Pick It Up Again.
Hmm.
Wait, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I did that right. Yeah, Pick It Up Again is number 6.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go into Petite League.
Oh wait, I want to just share my number 6 because I
That's
have
your number. Yeah, what is your number
Uh,
6?
Covered in Chrome.
Yeah? Alright,
Alrighty.
let's go into Warm Fuzzy Pop. Punk.
Yes.
Rock. Garage. Petite League covers
No
everything.
hitter.
It is a liar. It is almost all hitters.
Yes.
It drops off at the end, but for the most part, it hits pretty well.
And I also included the single Raspberry Vines because it's a reworking of Raspberry Seeds.
Which I'm surprised he did. But it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I prefer Raspberry Seeds.
I do too.
I like Vines better.
Vines is just another like regular Petite League song. Seeds is at least different.
Fair enough.
Yeah, like I think Reps One to the Night is still their best album because it is pretty smooth all the way through. I think No Hitter is a bit of a ramp down because Andy and Zookeeper pretty much are pretty up there, and then it just kind of it still is pretty good. It gets pretty good. It's pretty good, and then it goes like to the Voicemail and Down That Road and French New York, and then it kind of comes back up at the end for I Met You Before and Getta, but like it's yeah.
Getta is a bang.
I love Getta.
I do really enjoy Down That Road. It's got a great bass line and drop D. I figured that out by ear. I'm gonna make the Tylenol is Dominic's Dream.
So I want to go back for a bit because like going and doing my list, I kind of realized I have a top 10 for Violent Soho as well, and this is very subject to change. But if it's all right, I just want to do my 10 to 6 as well here.
Sure.
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. So I think with 10, I mean this is all subject to change, and this is just how I've written it at the moment. I think 10 I'm gonna put as Dope Calypso. 9 I'm gonna put as Bombs Over Broadway.
Which version?
From their self-titled. And also from their self-titled version, I'm going to put number 8 as Jesus Stole My Girlfriend. Number 7, I've decided to pick as How to Taste. And number 6, I've picked up as Sleep Here.
Okay. And here's a question though: do you like Jesus Stole My Girlfriend or Jesus Came to My Birthday Party? Which one's better?
Jesus Came to My Birthday Party.
Yes.
It depends on what mood I'm in. I think the album I think as a song, I'd probably be more likely to go back to Jesus Stole My Girlfriend, but as an album, well, yeah, Middle East.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna listen to the Middle East after we.
No debating that the Middle East album is better. Don't get me wrong on that.
I was listening to I Want It You're Always Happy again this week, and I just fell in love again with how it just transitions to like depressing folk pop, and then it just goes like country Americana. It is such a surprise, but so fitting.
Well, I mean, I've introduced it to my friend because he wanted to play some songs that were simple to play acoustically, and I kind of like dark depressing folk. So he's trying to learn Deep Water.
But like Dan Silverleaf is so good. The harmonies in that are really good. Anyway,
Yeah.
Petite League.
Yeah.
But there ain't no crying in Petite League.
No.
I think that song is
Perfect
fun.
game, no hitter, boys.
It's kind of a cute song. I
Yeah.
think.
Man, I mean,
It's not
I
a strong
think-
one off the album, but it's cute.
I like it.
I disagree. I think it is a strong one off the album.
I
It's
mean,
one of my favorites. It's on my shortlist for
Oh,
Petite
wow.
League.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of the similar reason why I like Shin Brews. It's kind of just fun.
Yeah.
It didn't make my list, but I still like it a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, my views on Petite League have seemed to be like kind of the opposite of yours, because the stuff that I think is the best stuff you claim to be is like weaker. Like the ones you two seem to have put Rattler as one of the weaker Petite League albums, but I
Yeah.
think Rattler's the best.
I have it as second or third best, I think.
Yeah,
Out of 4 albums.
I'm really going when I really go into my top 5. I'm gonna be as honest as I can and everything, and try and take everything into consideration. But don't be surprised if it's just Rattler and no hitter songs.
Okay.
I only have one Rattler song on the entire list.
I tried to get as many for. I have 2 from Rip Torn Into the Night, and the rest are just 1 from each.
I mean, I made top 10s, I guess. That's the difference, but yeah. I don't know. I just really like a lot of these songs. They're really fun. Annie, you know, I think You're My Nightmare on Elm Street is a bit of a line to sing, but
The openers that Petite League have done for both No Hitter and Rattler are fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
I really enjoy Annie. I think that's the best song off this album.
I also really like
Spoiler
Zookeeper.
alert, I know, but like, I like it. It's very short, catchy.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm always kind of let down at the end of Petite League albums because they just didn't quite match that same kind of energy or catchiness that the opener had. Like Rips One Into the Night, Sundogs is probably the best off that, and that was very nice and kind of catchy. Although it does still have a couple moments on there which I thought kind of picked up and got to that same kind of level again.
Devil's
but-
Way, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't hate these albums, and I actually do like a lot of what it tries to go for. But I also feel like a lot of its inconsistency kind of lets me down. And No Hitter is unfortunately you got that problem as well. I mean,
And
Lorenzo's still pretty young into his music career. It
And
seems
the second Petite League album.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lorenzo being older than me but still young is just boggles my mind. Like he like his voice has not aged a lot so far. Like it has here and there, but like I'm just waiting for the part where he's like he just suddenly looks 40 and sounds 40.
Yeah, let's hope that never happens.
I mean, you know, I think he's still attractive, but that's neither here nor there.
No, he's an attractive man when he's not in his scene.
Oh, his scene phase.
Yeah, the Sparkle Alaska. No, not Sparkle Alaska.
I think his scene phase is cute. It's cute.
Yeah.
It's a relic from that era of Tumblr, and it's cute. I like it. It's
Yeah.
So I've got a top 6 for Petite League now actually, and so I'll put, instead of a top 5, so I'll say the 6 at the end of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like my top 6 or top 5 is going to be so different from Trick's. It's going to be just like
probably
5.
I'm interested in this.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is just 5 completely different songs.
Probably.
We might have one overlapping.
Maybe. I guess
two
we'll
things.
find out.
Two things I want to get on. Number one, I think you're making the Tylenol joke because I've drunk a bit on this podcast before. Am I correct?
Yeah.
The what?
What
joke is this?
The Tylenol joke that she was trying to make.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, the Tylenol joke, just about waking up in bed next to him.
Oh.
Oh, I thought you were making the joke because of being hungover from drinking on the podcast.
No.
Oh.
Because the opening line is, it's like, in my t-shirt, in my bed, close my eyes, we'll close the blinds, and we can sleep till 9 or 10, until the hangover kicks in.
Right.
And it's just a song about, like, waking up next to a girl from a party or something.
Right, but it could be about waking up next to Lorenzo as well.
Yes, I'm saying that it's your dream to be the subject of Tylenol.
I mean, maybe, but
That's a yes.
I was taking it in a much different direction than that, so.
Yeah.
I was gonna be like, I have not drank at all since we did that second drunk episode, so.
I am currently drinking as we speak.
Oh well.
Nice.
It is fucking like 90 degrees in this room right now, so I don't even want to bother.
Oh yeah, my PS4 is on, and it's just. I'm surprised you guys can't hear it because it's just kicking out air like a fan boat in the bayou.
Well, it's
And the other thing I wanted to cover real quick.
winter / spring here, so.
You got the heat on, I'm sure. But
No, not really.
I also like Zookeeper because I was a kid on a leash because I would run away a lot. So
I feel like you are literally on a leash now, and that's gonna just be.
That is a thing.
It is a wrist leash.
Yeah.
But it's still a
Yeah.
leash.
Yeah, there are leash kids.
And it's amazing how being on a leash is both something as a punishment and a kink.
Yeah, I'm surprised they never crossed over, but they haven't.
Yeah. You could have been a real submissive boyfriend, Dominic.
Yeah, I don't know. It never quite kicked in. Maybe because I was just so against being on a leash.
Your boyfriend has you on a leash. Says to Trix, you just got that picture at the wrong time. That's really just ruined everything.
I did it the wrong time entirely.
Oh God, mine wasn't like that.
Yeah. So
That's
Trix has
that's
just shared a picture of
a child in a dog
seems to
harness.
be- Yeah, it's an actual market listing for one of those leashes, and it's like this young kid with hair not too far from mine.
Think like a bowl cut.
Yeah, with a fucking leash on them, and it's like this harness on their fucking.
Yeah, the
chest.
harness kind of looks like a sports bra.
I had a wrist leash, so it was not quite that extreme, but
That's like, God. But while we're searching up sports bra, I'm gonna see if I can find the image.
It was either that or I'd run away at the mall and get killed or something.
Yes, this image exists. I love it. So,
What,
for
Petite
those
League
who
sports
don't know
bra?
what state of origin is, it's a representative rugby league game, and during one of them, someone's jersey got ripped, so they had to took it off, revealing this beauty of the sports bra.
Oh, hitting the steroids a little too hard, man.
It just says sports on it.
Yeah. GP Sports, and for the next so apparently what actually happened is the sale of those bras actually went up,
Good for them.
and people were yelling at him, especially me because he's on the team I support at the time, to show us your bra for like 80 minutes every game after that.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
That sounds amazing.
For those who want to search up the player, his name is Trent Hodkinson, and it is one of the best moments in State of Origin. And that compares to when somebody had their head split open and then had their mum come onto the field, actually spit on the handkerchief and start fixing up the blood live on camera.
That's amazing. That's cute.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. Looking at him shirtless, he does kind of need the bra.
yeah,
Back to no hitter for a second.
yeah. That's a no-hitter.
Yeah.
What do you think the voicemail's about?
I really
that
don't
road.
know.
Don't go down that road.
No, but like,
I have a
what?
feeling it's like a wrong number voicemail or something.
I mean, it's the second album, so if you think about it, I took it as like, oh, he put his first album out there, and then he started selling merch, and so someone called him and be like, yo, I'm not going to give you my information to send me merch. What are you talking about?
Could be.
I don't know.
You don't. But I like the all right goodbye at the end, like the really like casual, like oh we're friends still, but
If they're friends,
Like,
what's the big deal?
well you know the how at the end of it he's just like okay goodbye or whatever,
Yeah.
like in like a real friendly tone.
I'm gonna guess he's one of the people who's thanked on Bandcamp,
Maybe.
because there is someone who's thanked for their voice that is not Jamie Brooks. And
Check.
and again, the Bandcamp detail for No Hitter is also great, where they thank the Halo 2 multiplayer maps, if I can speak,
Yeah.
and Flat Earth. Lorenzo was a real shitposter in his college years.
Yeah.
I
the
posted
bar
the
poster.
image I was on about now. If you look into this Discord, and that's where the it's a classic where his mum comes in and during the interview, gets the fucking handkerchief and starts wiping off the blood.
Those are incredible pictures, by the way.
Yeah,
just
they're
the-
actually
They're actually really good pictures.
Yeah. And in the images, it almost looks like the mom has mutton chops.
Yeah. It almost looks like a war zone of some kind.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the State of Origin games can get pretty brutal.
I know what I'm posting on fake history porn later for 3 upvotes.
I do like though that Down That Road is a response to the voicemail, kind of like a fuck you, I'm gonna do it anyway.
I fell asleep. Oh fuck! I forget the lyrics already.
I fell in love the morning you left me.
Yeah, I fell in love the morning you left me.
And I didn't actually realize that Greta was a bonus track until I looked at the Bandcamp.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not marked as a bonus track on like YouTube Music.
on
Well,
iTunes
so-
it is.
Huh.
And
Which I thought it was a fantastic closer to the album. It's definitely better than I Met You Before was.
I didn't get it on iTunes. I actually bought No Hitter on vinyl and then I downloaded it from that. So on Bandcamp, on the download, it's labeled as a bonus, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Shit.
but I like I Met You Before. I do like that it's not the official closer though, because that would have been kind of a letdown, I think.
Yeah, I Met You Before is kind of like a scarred enjoyment for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it was a song that my ex kind of co-opted for us, but now I just kind of see it as, yeah, you made mistakes and with her, and yeah, you're human. It's fine. Because like the no one yells at you if you have scars on your sleeves. I'm just interpreting that as like, yeah, you made mistakes. Nobody's gonna judge you for that.
Yeah. So I'm also going to talk about this real quick. So there's talk about leashing and Zookeeper, and there's talk about now how he wasn't raised by wolves. Sadly, no. But there's a lot of wolf howling in French New York, right? Like that's part of the chorus.
Ooh,
Right. So,
Lucky.
what is the over/under on Lorenzo being secretly a furry?
Possibly likely. I mean, have you seen that haircut?
Which haircut?
His
Yeah.
current one.
I mean, it looks nice. I don't know. I was interested in all the animal references like that. I was just curious.
And then there's a horse on the cover of Rattler. Or horse is.
When your remix is utterly flames, but RHCP won't respond to your emails to clear Californication for you, is on his Twitter. What is RHCP?
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Ah, okay.
California, California, California.
I was thinking the wrong California song.
I mean, that's all Red Hot Chili Peppers are, though. It's California.
For some reason, I was thinking like Tupac. So.
That's completely different. California Love and Danny California are two completely different songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think I like this Petite League album definitely a lot more than Rips One Into the Night. I think Rattler's still the best out of all the 4 albums I've heard. Who knows? Maybe the album they put out this year will be their best.
Yeah, who knows? I'm excited for that.
Maybe it'll be their worst. We can't tell. I mean,
also, one thing I want to
think
mention about Jamie Brooks,
Mm-hmm.
I clicked onto the Rattler page, and she did background vocals on Young Bubblegum.
Oh, I think yeah. That makes sense. I've not looked up Jamie Brooks, though I should have. I'm curious about her. I don't know anything about her.
Me either. Let's check the band.
Is she just a friend, I guess?
Maybe.
Because that's the other interesting thing is that this is like the one song that has like a feature.
Yeah.
So Hiccups has a feature with somebody, but there's not much out there about
and like
them.
the whole of Petite League's discography actually. It's interesting.
Well,
Yeah,
he did
only...
tease that the new album has features on it, but we'll see.
Yeah. I don't think Slugger had any.
No, it doesn't.
What if Lorenzo and Mal Blum did a feature?
Oh, that would be fucking weird. I'd dig that.
That'd be tailored to our podcast.
Yeah.
The universe just contorts itself around our podcast for no reason other than it thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, anything else to say? I mean, I understand why you like Petite League. I know a lot of the lyrics have been quite personal to you, and that's always great to have with an artist.
I've got like a personal, like, physical closeness to them, which I quite enjoy. Because again, I was literally in the town that this album was recorded in today, selling bass guitar.
We've all had a bit of personal connection to each of the artists that we're doing. Obviously, Violent Soho is something that I grew up with. Same with Dominic with Mitchell Hotel. Petite League, you've had all this.
And I mean, I think Petite League for you is kind of like my weekend run club thing.
Yeah. Although I don't know Lorenzo.
Fair enough. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
They'll just see that we're just posting about doing podcasts on Petite League all the time, and it's like, well, I might as well.
She's got bassist in her Twitter bio.
But Lorenzo does the bass, I think, for most of it.
Most of it, yeah.
Yeah, so looking at the Petite League merch page on Bandcamp, the only thing you can buy right now is the Rattler.
Yeah, and it's $10, which jump on that.
I mean, on iTunes they're $9.90.
Yeah, so buy the vinyl for $10 and support the Petite League will get a bigger cut.
That's fair.
Yeah, but shipping is $45.
If you're Australian, you fuckhead.
Yeah, well, let's check out this. How much does it cost for Australian?
I wish there was more Petite League cassettes. That would be really cool.
Shipping is $2.75 in the US.
$33 shipping. Ugh.
Oof.
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 That's more than the Weekend Run Club cost.
Damn.
Oh, it's a big vinyl.
Yeah, nah. Maybe I'll just pat him on the head.
Buy the digitals.
I mean, you had to talk personally to Weekend Run Club to get a CD too.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, Bridget, pass CD. Here, money. Thank you.
Shout out to Bridget and Weekend Run Club and Mitchell.
Yes.
Yeah, that arrived just the other week. It is in good quality. I mean, Zoo, I absolutely adore the album art for. I actually haven't met somebody who doesn't adore the album art for that.
It's
So whoever
great
did the art for that, mwah.
And as
Good
of this
job.
recording, Mitchell should have a new solo thing out tomorrow.
Yeah, it looks like a Nirvana cover, which is not 100 gex last time I checked.
I mean, it was probably recorded before you even suggested that, so give it time.
I was like the only person who suggested a song. 100
I was
gex,
trying to
Horse.
think of something, but I couldn't think of anything comedic enough because I wanted to go funny.
Well, they didn't do any of my requests really when I requested for their quarantine stuff, so it's like, they'll do what they do.
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
will fucking cover Stupid Horse just for him. Mitchell, if you're here, I'll do the production. I'll just add in a bunch of random cartoon sounds and probably get you copyright claimed, but still.
It'll be like Pink Eye on My Leg.
Yep.
Anyway, let's do 10 through 6 neutral for Petite League.
Well, I'm going to say my 6, and it's going to be Sundogs.
Interesting. Okay, so for me, number 10 is Blood Gardens. Number 9 is Tylenol. Number 8 is Devil's Boy. Number 7 is Pocket Knife. Number 6, Sundogs.
We got an agreement. That's the first one.
Yeah.
Well,
I
maybe-
guarantee there'll be no agreement between Riddle and I.
Yeah.
So now, we get our top 5s for all 3. Mutual Milk Hotel,
Yeah.
Violent Soho, and Petite League.
Well, we'll start off with in the order that we've done this podcast with. Do we want to does someone want to open up a Google or Excel sheet and like keep track of this?
I mean, I can just add
Just
it to my
so that-
Google Doc.
Yeah, I was thinking add it to your Google Doc and we can post this on the Twitter as kind of like a snippet. Actually,
Yeah,
no,
I'm-
never mind. It might be a spoiler. I don't know.
Whatever.
After
figure
the
it
album
out
goes up.
In like a month and a half, whenever it goes up.
Yeah.
I'll try to get some more episodes out, maybe, and we'll do the turnaround time be a little tighter. We'll see.
Yeah.
Who wants to start?
Tricks.
I'll start. Yeah. I'm actually gonna go in reverse order and start with my number 1 because it'll be a little easier for me because I didn't write anything down because I'm an idiot.
For Neutral Milk?
Yeah, this initial one.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well,
For
start
neutral.
writing after this. Start writing it up for Petite League and Rit and Violent Soho then.
I have my Petite League list memorized already, and Violent Soho is less of a top 5 and more of a nebulous like these are 5 songs that are probably the best.
Oh, fuck you.
Anyway, go ahead.
So my number 1 is Two-Headed Boy.
Just in the airplane version, I'm guessing?
In the airplane version, I
What
adore
about
that
part 2?
song. Part 1.
Okay.
Number 2 is Holland 1945. Noisy, and I just love the vibe of it.
Yeah.
Number 3, I'm gonna throw on my Dream Girl Doesn't Exist. I really love like just the darkness of that song, and just I really like that song for some reason, and I can't quite put it into words.
Well, it's when I come around. It's just Green Day.
Yeah. Number 4, Engine, the Ferris Wheel on Fire version, because I really enjoy the singing saw, and it's just a fun song.
And now for number 5.
I'm going to throw Oh Comely at number 5.
Ooh. I'm guessing the album version?
Yes, the album version.
So, because Dominic is the Neutral Milk Hotel one, we'll leave their top 5 until last.
Okay.
I think it's fair for each artist there.
Sure.
And I probably could have done a top 10. I didn't. But yeah, this is going to be controversial. But number 5 was the one in which I had to think the hardest of, because
Okay.
almost anything could have been. I decided to put number 5 as Where You'll Find Me Now.
Which version?
Where You Find Me Now version. On Avery Island.
Oh, is that...
I,
Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Sorry.
yeah. Number 4, I've stuck in as Garden Head, Leave Me Alone. Which is... Usually when I go back to listening to Nutrimoke Hotel songs, yeah, Garden Head is up there. That one's just incredible. But so are the next 3. And number 3 for a long time was my favorite Nutrimoke Hotel song.
Oh, Naomi got dethroned.
No. Naomi wasn't the initial number 1. The initial number 1 a while ago was Holland 1945.
Gotcha.
So now, how's Naomi been dethroned? Nah, number 2 is Ghost / Penny Arcade in California. Which means that, yeah, number 1 is still Naomi.
I was going to call that.
Wait, what was number 3 then? I missed number 3.
Holland 1945.
Oh, it like completely cut out for a second there then.
Oh, yeah, so, yeah, for a while, like, before this podcast, Holland 1945 was my favorite Nutrimoke Hotel song. But as I've gotten more into them, I've appreciated, I mean, Ghost / Penny Arcade in California, just as that. It's like, yeah, you got this really great kind of 3-minute song that's really luscious of instrumentation, and then you have this 2-minute kind of closer, which just bangs and has bagpipes in it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's the emotional potency, I guess, is the word to describe it as of Naomi, which is why I adore it so much. It's one of the ones where Jeff Mangum feels so... He feels so honest. Like, it's not just like the whole, like, oh yeah, I'm in love with this girl who doesn't exist anymore type of way, and like, oh, how deep. Naomi feels like one that is truly honest with the feelings of someone who's near them. And him just trying to be really... It's a creepy song, but... I mean, I think the person that it was written about ended up directing the music video for it a couple years back.
Oh, so they seem to have gotten along okay then?
Yeah, it's based off an
Did you
actual
see
Naomi.
Did you see what I dropped in the chat?
Christian
song. I love you, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Someone finally fell for it. I'm happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna be my top 5 Nutrimoke Hotel songs.
Which leaves me to do my number 5. I made this based off of the stuff that we've covered. So,
Which is everything at this point.
I mean, I left off like the single version of Engine, which is recorded differently, which doesn't even count anymore. But that was like the intention there.
Yeah.
So number 5, Little Birds studio version. I still really love that song. I really love what he did with it. Two-Headed Boy Part 2, the Jittery Joe version, is number 4. Number 3 is Oh Sister. Number 2 is April 8th, Avery Island version.
And now, number 1.
Two-Headed Boy Part 2, Aeroplane version.
I don't think we had I think the only ones that really got anywhere close to being in the same position was Holland 1945.
Which I didn't even have on my list.
Yep.
I had it on my top 10, but not top 5.
Yeah. I'm surprised that none of us actually picked In the Airplane Over the Sea.
I also cut that at the last minute.
It's a good song, but it's not in my top. I like... If I hadn't heard the studio version of Engine, I would have probably put it in.
Yeah.
And now, for the next artist, who wants to start? I think, Trix, are you still writing your top 5 here?
For Violent Soho?
Yeah.
Again, I just kind of have like a nebulous sort of thing, and I haven't really picked... I couldn't tell you like a definitive ranking.
Or you want to go first then?
Sure, I'll just give off songs by Violent Soho I like.
Is this 1 through 5 or 5 through 1? I gotta know.
Again, nebulous, no order really. For
okay, I'll just write the titles down as you read them.
Okay. Viceroy, quite enjoyed.
Feel like Viceroy is probably actually your favorite at this point, though.
Probably. It's been a while since I've listened to it, but it was good. Neighbor, Neighbor, quite enjoyed. Dope Calypso, Ceremonous Said, and Gold Coast.
Okay, and that brings me to mine. Some similarities. Number 5 is Ceremonous Said. Number 4 is Dope Calypso. Number 3 is Tinderbox. Number 2 is How to Taste. And number 1, let's all say yeah, Covered in Chrome.
Yeah!
So here's the biggest surprise, is that we've actually got a lot of similarities here. And there is one song that you don't have in your whole top 10, which I'm very surprised that you don't. It will be in my top 5, because you actually said that it was one of your favorites when we covered it.
We'll get there.
And
Probably
we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get there. But first off, number 5 seems to be pretty much an agreement here, because I picked Saramana Said. Number 4, I have picked as Neighbor Neighbor. I love it. I love a lot of Violent Soho ones. I mean, Saramana Said, like I said, was one of the first ones that I was getting into, and then we got a Neighbor Neighbor, which is just, I don't know. It's hard to explain because it's not the most unique thing, and it's also not the most it's a weird one in Violent Soho's discography, but I like it a lot. Number 3 and number 2 were always very close to each other here, but I think going into the end, what I think is the best, and when it actually comes into top 10s or just regular year album polls, this is the only song that I've actually ever voted for, because obviously I didn't hear Kevin and Chrome in enough time, is Viceroy as number 3. Which means
Early in the morning.
I'm very surprised that you didn't have this on, Dominic, as number 2 is Eat Your Parents.
That was when I cut at the last minute.
So was that in number 11 or something?
Like 11, 12, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
I forgot about Tinderbox and Neighbor Neighbor, so I had to put them in at the last minute. Which
I don't know.
I'm glad I did.
Eat Your Parents is just, it's fantastic in my opinion. The first time I ever saw Violent Soho live was the first time I heard this song live. It wasn't, I heard this song, full stop. And it's angsty as shit. I don't know what the fuck they're on about, but it just fucking rocks.
Yeah.
And I mean, without a doubt, I know I've overhyped it to shit, and no one's surprised about my number 1. I'm surprised that Dominic had it as his number 1, to be honest. Is Covered in Chrome.
It's a good song.
Yeah, I thought you would have picked as number 1, to be honest.
I mean, Dope Calypso's cool too, but I mean, I don't think Covered in Chrome quite hit me in the same way that it hit you, but I thought it was the best one of the bunch.
Fair enough. I mean, the guitar on it is fucking fantastic. As it opens up in this slow, kind of crooning way. I know Trix hasn't really gone around to it, but I feel like the more you listen to it, the more everything just kind of hits you.
Like the further we get away from this episode, and the further away I get from listening to any Violent Soho, the only songs I could probably remember offhand are Covered in Chrome and Saramona Said.
Fair enough.
And some of Dope Calypso maybe, but Covered in Chrome is number 1 with a bullet right there.
So, let's go into our final top 5s here, and I think this is going to be the hardest one for us to
Speak for
kind of
yourself
figure
on
out. Well, for me it is. I don't know how you two go on. You want me to go first, Dominic, or do you want to go first?
I'll go first. Number 5 for Petite League. Number 5 is Annie. Number 4 is Getta. Number 3, Raspberry Seeds. Number 2, and I know this is super controversial for everybody, but number 2 is Ghost 1998. And
I really enjoy that song.
No, it's only controversial for me. I think that's still one of the weakest.
And number 1 is Shin Bruise.
Spending all my days learning how to kickflip.
It's not going great. My feet are strangely shaped.
Maybe one day.
So, obviously I put in my number 6 as Sundogs, and this one was a top 5 that was very kind of hard to figure out, specifically number 1 and number 2. But number 5 I have put as Sweetener, which the way that song introduces itself, it's like weird. It's like this kind of like the guitar just kind of kicks in a way that they're literally just playing it live, not really quite sure what they're doing kind of way, but it all just works, and the energy of that track's great.
Yeah.
But then it's also beaten by the energy of the song White Knuckle Wildflower, which I put at number 4, which has one of the catchiest choruses of the whole album.
White Knuckle Wildflower in a bouquet, in a bouquet. There's a reason it was the first single.
Number 3, I have put as Greta, which I'm still very upset was not actually an official track at the start, because it's fantastic. Just this whole song that seems to be about David Guetta is just...
David Guetta don't get us.
It's odd, but I love it.
I'm a young millennial.
And I feel like number 2 and number 1 could change at any time.
Uh-huh.
Number 2 I put as Annie. Maybe another day it would be number 1, but I also feel like recency bias is a bit of a thing here.
Uh-huh.
Because, I only just heard it kind of recently, but number 1, I don't know, I feel like it wins with just the opening lines to it, of the "Oh, we kissed on our lips," and you said, "Close your eyes and
I missed." We choke
we
up
choke
listening to
up
our
listening to our own songs, and it feels like we've been alive too long.
Snakes in the
Yes,
grass
yeah.
won't rattle.
It's such a fucking good opener, and it's, whether or not it's the best song, I don't know, but it's definitely the best way to have opened an album, is the title track to Rattler. Dominic has just muted himself to cough, I assume.
Yeah, I'm learning how to do that.
Nice. Now, I wonder if you actually muted your mic properly, so that it doesn't appear on OBS.
Oh, I don't know.
Or just muted your mic in the Discord.
Probably just in the Discord. Oh well. Didn't even think about that. I thought it would. I thought it'd work out.
That's gonna be my top 5 Petite League.
I'll figure out how to mute it on OBS later.
And mine, which is completely different from everybody else's. So number 5, I have Raspberry Vines. Really dig it. It's a great reworking.
I assume I already know what your number 1 is, but I'm gonna wait for you to say it.
No, I want you to guess what my number 1 is.
That's probably Pocket Knife.
No.
Ooh.
Oh.
Pocket Knife isn't even my top 5.
Dang.
Damn, I thought that was your favorite of Rips 1 into the Night.
No, I got my absolute. I'll get to that. So,
Number 4.
number 4 for me is Halloween in Hollywood off of Slugger.
Yep.
Because that's just like some great, that was like some proper surf punk right there.
Yeah. There was only one real Slugger song that I was like considering, and that was probably there was one at the start. I think it was like Surviving October or Little 4th of July was one of them.
Yeah, Surviving October is come home while I'm just so drunk, fall asleep with all the lights on.
Let me just quickly remind myself which one it was.
Well, he does that. My number 3 was Reclusa off of Rips 1 into the Night. That used to be my favorite off the track, but a different song, or his favorite off the album, but a different song has kind of taken my number 1, and I'll get to that.
Yeah.
But my number 2...
The one I was thinking of was Surviving October.
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 is Young Bubblegum.
Hmm.
And my number 1 is Pulling Teeth.
Hard Eyes.
So I'm very interested in so from what we can see that your number 1 in total is Pulling Teeth. That's a fair off Rips on it tonight. I don't know. Young Bubblegum is one of my least favorites personally of Rattler.
I like the closing
I
of it.
just really dig the atmosphere it creates. Like it perfectly encapsulates like a New York City night. Like not the city, but like a city in New York, but a night during like
So you had
late spring,
Pulling
early
Teeth,
summer.
Reclusa, Halloween in Hollywood, Young Bubblegum. Did you have any no-hitter? No, you didn't because you had Raspberry Vines.
Yeah,
So you technically
initially
didn't.
I had Annie, but then at the last minute I swapped it out for Raspberry Vines.
So that's gonna be in like it. So Annie is in number 6 then.
Yeah, but that was like a very last minute decision, like before I even started.
I feel like Annie and Rattler are like the songs that I'm just gonna go back to in Petite League's discography.
Yeah,
Like I adore them so far. Like the difference between on my list here between Annie and Greta is huge.
yeah.
And with that, I think that's gonna be where he leaves us. If these two want to rank their albums, they can, but I'm not gonna.
I'm not gonna.
I'm not gonna do it.
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, we can do it later in the big overall ranking and piss everyone off then. But until now, let's get into the albums that we're going to do next week. And I'm gonna throw a massive curveball because I know this is 2020, and I know that I said I was gonna get back into doing Australian artists.
Yeah.
But someone just came out with an album on Friday. An artist that we haven't covered, and we absolutely need to because they are one of the oddest musicians at the moment.
Can I take a guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
Does it begin with the letter X?
What were you going to say it was?
I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Shushu? Zuzu?
Shushu hasn't put out an album this year, I believe. I'm going to search if they put out an album this year, but we can do that later because I'm picking absolute meme lord Oliver Tree with his new album, Ugly is Beautiful.
Oliver Tree? Ugly is Beautiful?
Yep. I don't know. He's an absolute like oddity. He gives out really crazy interviews, which usually end up staged and with him fighting the person that he's interviewed. He literally pulled off a stunt the other day as a joke of going to ride the world's biggest scooter to break a world record.
Nice.
And there was also been a lot of stuff that we'll get into, which it's hard to tell when he's serious and when he's not. But he put out his album finally after much speculation on Friday, and it is good.
I was gonna pull up the Shushu thing, but it's their Bandcamp subscriber only.
Well,
Because they just had a tweet that the new album's out.
really?
Yeah. Or I don't know.
Will have to
I don't
search
know
it
if
up, but
I don't know if that's a.
Shushu. I'll have to search it up, actually.
I don't know. Maybe that's not a full thing. I don't know. It's.
Well, they did a collaboration with Health quite recently.
Yeah, I'll post it in the chat. You tell me what you think.
Yeah, I will. But until then, say what your album is.
Yeah. So, I like looking through, seeing who's releasing stuff every year to choose for this podcast who we should cover, and I saw that Willie Nelson released his 70th album this year.
Oh God, I hate.
It's gonna reek of pot smoke.
So we're gonna do Willie Nelson's 70th album, The First Rose of Spring.
What
Not
a
gonna lie,
fucking
I'm
title.
kind of excited.
Yeah, this is gonna be. I feel like this is gonna be the worst. But
This is an
you never know.
interesting
if it's gonna be the
combination.
album of the year.
I want to know, like, when you get to your 70th, 70, like, what is that like? It's like this
I
is
don't
also,
think he knows it's his 70th because he smokes so much pot. I don't think he knows he's done 70 albums.
I think he's actually stopped smoking now, but yeah.
It doesn't matter. Triggers absorb so much like pot
That's-
smoke.
that's true,
It's
that's
not
true.
even funny.
He puts out so many albums. Like it's what the fuck. He's not even. How old is he even?
He's like 88,
70 something.
87.
87.
Damn.
But
So he's almost at
pickled.
one. He's almost at one album per year, almost.
Fuck it now.
The dude's pickled.
This is
That means he
also.
released an album every year since he was 21.
This is our first full country album as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I feel about it. This could be another WoW situation, but I'm excited.
And
I feel like it's going to be a more of a Huey Lewis.
Maybe, but I just gotta know. I go for curiosity over maybe the quality.
This is going to be one of the more interesting ones we've done this year, and I hate you, but I'm excited.
yeah, this is gonna be super interesting.
Twix, did you manage to hear what I put as my 2020 choice?
Yeah, you're doing me more. Put it in chat later because I was focused on something else.
Yeah, alright, no worries. Just say what your 2020 is, and we'll.
I'm gonna be doing what I think is the heaviest album we've done this year, done in this podcast history.
Okay.
I'm gonna be doing the album Viscerals by Pigs, 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 Pigs.
I think there was only 6.
There's 7 pigs.
We'll do one more for safety.
Well, I absolutely hate the album art, so fuck you.
It's a great like stoner doom metal sort of thing, and just like some of the songs, it just feels like you're in like a nuclear wasteland with like the sirens swirling.
I hate you already. This is a very, very ugly art, but maybe
It's well done ugly though.
Well, you know what they say. Ugly is beautiful.
Yeah. Well, that's art that disgusts me, but it's not disgusting me because it's done poorly. It's just actually disgusting, and hopefully that's fitting.
Yeah, and you're also going to be watching a music video for Rubbernecker.
Oh God. Can I just ate.
You don't have to watch
You
it
don't
now.
have to watch. You don't have to watch it now. But...
What a combination! What a combination!
yeah.
You can catch me on my website, violentforkids.github.io. I also have a YouTube channel where I don't post this fucking art. Oh God. For those who don't see it, it's intestines, and then there's an eye all on like this cylinder block, and then
It's
there's
a
a fork.
column.
Like it's spaghetti and meatballs. And
Yes.
it's off this. It's weird. I'm not gonna post that on my YouTube channel. That's in the link below. However, someone who will post it on their Twitter is Trix.
Yeah, you can catch me on Twitter at procrastronaut_. That's like procrastinating astronaut, and with an underscore at the end of it. I also have a YouTube channel where I've been doing eccentric content. And we also have a Dissonant Wave. Oops, hiccups. We have a Dissonant Waves Twitter at Dissonant Waves and a Dissonant Wave website, dissonantwaves.space.
And then you can catch me at tiltingwindmillstudios.com. I sometimes write stuff. I write other things. Maybe we'll read them eventually. Who knows? I hear something in the background. I don't know who it is. Probably Ritalin.
Was that coughing that you heard?
No, it sounds like someone talking.
It sounds like a
no.
TV.
It's probably a bit of things here.
And then you can catch me on Twitter at DACICHOCKI.
Oh yeah, the TV's on in my place of recording at the moment, so that's probably what you're hearing. Sorry about that. We will be finishing up soon. Hopefully this isn't playing everywhere.
It's good.
Nah, we only heard it.
We good. So, everyone, get ready for Pigs ×7, Oliver Tree, and Willie Nelson next episode.
Yep.
Really,
Until then,
yeah, really fucking
we'll
going
catch you
for it.
next time.
Bye-bye.